Are we live?
Yeah, I'm just
Huh?
digging the music. Yeah, I'm just digging the music.
We're live?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good morning. I didn't hear the
Good
introduction.
morning, everyone. I didn't do the introduction. I was just digging to the music. So let me do the intro. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Fuel for Success. It's Friday morning, episode 73. Good to see everyone here this morning. Awesome to hear Matt's music. Good morning, Matt, my friend. How are you?
Couldn't be happier, buddy. I could not be happier. I'm doing awesome. God's good. Life is good. Life is fun. I'm happy to be in the race. Doing good. Rolling with some major carrot and apple and ginger this morning.
Good morning to Germany, or good afternoon to Germany. Emily from Germany, good to see you here.
Emily, how'd you hear about the show? Good to see David Sandy back. He had to miss yesterday, but glad they're back.
Hey,
Good to see
awesome.
Bill.
So it's Friday.
Yeah,
What's that?
I'm
It's
out here.
Friday, which is which is our day to talk about family and relationships today on our 73rd episode. And love this topic. Love the topic of family and relationships.
73rd episode. My goodness, it's going by fast.
It
Hey, so how
is.
are
It's
you, man?
crazy.
You got a good weekend ahead of you? You ready for the weekend? Are you excited? Do you like weekends? Well, where's your mind on this?
I do actually. I've got a pretty busy weekend. I'm speaking at a torch conference tomorrow morning, and we've got some other stuff going on. Of course, church on Sunday. It's going to be a packed weekend, but it should be fulfilling and exciting. And yeah, should be good. How about you?
Got an amazing weekend. I pick up Caleb from school, and he'll be staying with me tonight. So we'll probably go bike riding downtown, maybe go to the beach for the sunset. Probably just kick back tonight, relax, maybe do some writing in my book. And then
Nice.
tomorrow, going to be working all day in my office until about 3. And then at 4, he's got 2 baseball games. It's baseball tournament time. Spring baseball for this age level is almost like 3 weekends a month of baseball tournaments. But that's just par for the course,
Wow.
baby. But thank God the weather's been beautiful. So we don't actually, believe it or not, in Florida, we don't play a lot of baseball in the summer because it's A, so hot, and B, it rains so much here. So most baseball for Florida is January through like June. We are playing in a big Disney tournament this year. That'll be fun. A week
Nice.
of baseball at Disney World. There's this park there that's just unreal. It'll be a cool. It'll be cool.
That's very cool. I was actually surprised to talk to my brother, and they're already playing baseball in Iowa. Um,
Well, for them.
so yeah, there's still a little bit of snow here. So although I did
Eh,
see softball practice down the street yesterday.
Softball's fun. It's kind of an old man sport, so I'm not getting in it right
Yeah.
now.
Well, it's like a girls softball team, young
I
girls. So
just found out there was a 40 and under baseball league here locally that plays competitive baseball. So I'm thinking about like coming out of retirement here, maybe playing some games myself.
is that right?
Oh, shut up. I don't mean to say shut up, Carol, but hush. It
Zip it.
rains. It rains during the rainy season, June and July. But no biggie, because I'll be in Alaska in June, so that'll be cool. And then we'll be in Chicago. Mike, Mission 25, man. I'm so excited about it. We're going to be going to St. Louis here in a few weeks. I'm also excited
That's
about going
right.
to Chicago and Detroit, man. That's going to be awesome. This summer of Mission 25, I expect to be huge. I think a lot of youth groups, because they're going to be out of school, are going to be coming. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of momentum going on with Mission 25 right now. Go to mission25usa.com to pick the missions trip of your choice, or come to more than one. In fact, you'll find that once you come to one, it's like an addiction. Most people like are trying to come to all of them because that's how much they love it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. It's amazing, and I've got everywhere I go at we were at the conference last night, and people are asking about it. Like, tell me more about this. How do I get involved? What can I do? And so there's a lot of buzz about Mission 25. A lot of people are interested, and so hey, we should probably do some more shows about Mission 25 just to get the word out and get people have questions. So
Let's do one this weekend. You up?
yeah, Saturday afternoon or evening probably we could.
All right, cool. Hey, we just got called Soul Brothers by Christy this morning. Soul Brothers and Sisters. Hey, Mike, I'm going to open with a story, man. Do a lot of life coaching and consulting. I sat down a while back with a guy who was on his third marriage, and his third marriage was falling apart. Now, the guy was a multi-millionaire. He lived in a mansion. Hired me because he wanted me to kind of help. He was like 40 pounds overweight. His business was kind of struggling, even though he was massively wealthy. And mainly that his marriage was falling apart. So did a lot of listening at first just to try to find out the real answer and find out what the real situation was. And after about 3 sessions of listening to him, there's a couple of things I noticed. Number one, he had a victim mentality. Nobody can have a successful relationship or really even a successful life when you have a victim mentality. That is probably the number one thing, because we're human and we're naturally selfish. It's our human nature. You don't want to develop a victim mentality. No matter what happens, even if your husband cheats on you, or your dad totally betrayed you when you were a kid, or you went through abuse, or whatever you could name that would be the worst, right? No matter what, you've got to become whole in life, and you've got to break victim thinking. It was the number one thing that we worked on with this guy. Second thing was, he was so passionate about business, and he wondered why all of his relationships fell apart. And he said that his third wife's about to leave him. And I said, look, man, just kind of fuel for thought here, my friend. I said, you're really amazing at sales. And I said, you have amazing customer service. Amazing. I said, what if you treated your wife better than you treated your customers? What do you think would happen to your marriage? Or what if you pursued after your marriage the way that you pursued after your business sales, And the third thing I noticed about him was that he not only played the victim, he didn't take full responsibility. It was always the other person's fault. And in any relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's business relationships, whether it's, marriage, dating, can't always be the person that blames everyone else. Sometimes you got to take full responsibility. You got to look inward. Anyways, long story short, Mike, I helped him lose weight. He made some strategic changes, and now he's in great shape. Just saw him on Twitter yesterday, and his marriage is thriving. So thank God. So that's the power of sometimes you just need somebody in your life that can be a fresh set of eyes and sometimes shoot you straight. Sometimes you need that friend that's going to tell you like it is. It's not always easy. Yeah. It's right. Looks like, go ahead. I'm listening, buddy.
No, I was just going to say, a lot of times, we feel like to love someone is to make them feel good about themselves, and that isn't necessarily what love is. Sometimes love is telling them the truth.
Did Christy have a question? She asked if we got her question.
I think so. I'm, as you know, I had to switch systems this morning. I had a little bit of a technical issue, so I'm trying to pull it up on my other system here. But we do, of course, we get a bunch of questions in between shows through email and text, and we try to answer them. Of course, if you're on the show live, we'd also like to get your questions on right now. So if you have a question, type it in the chat box or click on the question box down there, or even click on camera if you want to come on camera and ask it, and we'd be happy to bring you on. So While I'm, what's that?
So we love for people to come on camera with us.
That's right. Hey, I'm actually going to start out with one that we had sent in, and I'm going to defer to you on this one because I've been off the market for 21 years. Um, it's a
Uh-oh.
question. It's a question about dating.
Uh-oh.
What
Gee,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not the best
What
one
are
to answer.
Maybe you are, because it's a question about mistakes. What kind of mistakes do people make when they're dating?
That's huge. Um, I'll just give you right off the top of my head 3 or 5 quick mistakes that I see and that I've made and I've seen others make. Number one mistake, Mike, is getting serious too fast. That is probably the number one mistake that I see. We're in a society that they get they get physical quick, and we've talked about this before, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to dive too deep into it. But I think a couple, as long as they can go without making out or kissing, I think the healthier the relationship will be. So I think that it should be a goal, and I understand it's not easy. I totally get that, believe me. But I think you should set a goal to try to go as long as you can. The second mistake that I think that people make in dating is they don't have quality conversation. A lot of people that date nowadays, it's not done maturely. They don't have good conversation about real stuff. A lot of it's shallow, and I think that it's a mistake not to talk. James Dobson says that you should talk a minimum of 1,000 hours before you even get engaged. So I see a
Wow.
lot of couples that have dated 2 years and they don't really know each other. And a lot of it is because we just were never really taught in life how to be a good conversationalist and how to really ask good questions that help you kind of find out where somebody really is and what their real beliefs are, what they think about something. And then probably the third mistake, Mike, is ignoring warning signs early. Um, Most people are not quick enough to terminate a dating relationship. You know what I'm saying? They tend to maybe overlook warning
Yeah.
signs. That would be a mistake. And then I think another mistake is not being clear about what you want. And again, probably the biggest mistake is dating the wrong person. That's probably the biggest waste of time in your life is to spend one single day dating the wrong person. And I think there's some reasons why people end up with the wrong people. And I think the number one reason is because they don't follow that simple advice we've given, Mike. Make a list of 10 things you absolutely must have and 10 things you absolutely must not have. And let that be your guide, no matter what, no matter how hot she is or hot he is, no matter how many other good traits she might have or he might have. Look, man, you live or die by that list. I have a list. It's called 10 Things I Must Have, and I'm very clear about it. I'm not all into like, if you gotta have a guy with dark hair, you gotta have a guy that's 6'5". That shouldn't be a deal breaker for you. The physical side. I think that
Right.
if you have a person that's got 10 in character and spirit, and maybe a 6 or 7 in looks, grab them. You got someone that's like a 10 in looks and maybe a 4 or 5 or 6 in character. Ooh, I'd be pretty careful myself. That's it, Mike. I mean, that's in a nutshell. I mean, I could keep talking about this subject because I have been in the trenches for quite some time, and I've made some mistakes, and I've also seen a lot of mistakes made.
That's good.
I see
This is
that
a
little
little random, but
face, my friend.
uh, I just saw that Emily asked a question. What's your favorite band?
Zach Brown band for me um, are probably, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest music guy, you know. I like what Julie said. The physical side is overrated. It really is, Julie. It really, really is. People don't get that. And that's why we have so many problems nowadays, is because, you know. Anyway, Christy, we miss Seth. Is he at school? We haven't seen Seth on our show in a long time. What's your favorite band, Mike?
I don't know that I have necessarily a favorite band. I just have sort of favorite music styles, and of course, bluegrass is my absolute favorite. I also like Irish folk, and I like Scottish pipe and drum. If I had to say, somebody say, "Well, give me a band that I need to listen to something." There's it's a weird band, but it's a pipe and drum band called the Wicked Tinkers. They're just instrumental pipe and drum, Scottish bagpipes, and you should check it out. It's pretty epic.
I remember
Anyway,
the beach with you guys, and somebody was playing uh, bagpipes, weren't they?
yeah, dude standing there playing bagpipe, like
I'm
sweet.
with the Irish folk. I'm with the uh, bluegrass. I'm not so much with the bagpipes. Yeah, Julie, bluegrass rocks. It's just something about it. 80s does rock
Energy.
here. Nothing beats the 80s. Why does nothing beat the 80s? Still to this day, nothing beats the 80s.
Ooh,
Okay,
do
David.
it, David. Send me a link to a bluegrass apostolic band. I'm all about that. Come on.
Never
I
heard of
love
that.
yeah, the Lewis family is amazing bluegrass gospel. If you haven't listened to them, I think they're not together anymore. They got a little old and sort of retired. But what's that say about me? Okay. Hey,
I was just reading all the
along
comments.
this,
What, Mike?
yeah, uh, we've got several more questions. You know what, Christy, I don't find your question anywhere. Did you send it in text or email? I'm not sure what your question was. I apologize for that. I had a little system disruption. I failed. It's
Failed.
important to admit when you fail. It's
I believe.
important to admit.
Never, and speaking of dating the wrong person, never ever date the person that can't admit when they're wrong. Never. Run a billion miles away. If they can't admit when they're wrong now, whew, you're in bad shape. I don't like, Mike, I think people that cannot just say they're sorry and say I was wrong are scary, dangerous people. I'm leery of anyone that just can't say, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry about that. So that's a good point. What else we got, Mike? We got about 10-ish, 12 minutes left.
10-ish.
Tell us what we got, my friend.
Well, let me look at this. So along the same vein of making mistakes, what are some parenting mistakes that people make that you've seen or have done yourself?
Why don't you start off answering that, and then I'll piggyback on it.
Sure. Here, let me grab my list of mistakes that I've made parenting. I can't lift it; it's too heavy. Um,
Oh, I mean, your oldest is how old? 16 now?
my youngest is 17.
Youngest. That's what I'm.
Um,
Youngest.
yeah, Danny's
So
17. Just dropped her off
you've
at
gone
school a
down
little
the
while
road.
ago.
What would be 3 mistakes you think you've made?
Actually, one of the biggest mistakes, and I corrected this. This was a course correction that I made during my parenting. Um, well, first of all, there's like no real book to tell you. Okay, there's a lot of books, but every kid is different. And one of the mistakes, a couple of things. One is every kid is different. Don't treat them all the same. Every child. So I have 3 kids, raised 3 kids, and every one of them, have different personalities. They react to things differently, and you have to parent them differently. It's no different than if you're managing a group of people. They're not all going to be the same, and you can't take the exact same uh,
Same.
tactics with all of them. Yeah, now your strategy is going to be the same. Your parenting strategy is, your vision, your goals, and the direction you want to go. The strategy is going to be the same for all 3, but the tactics are going to be different. I can't motivate my son the same way that I can motivate, say for example, Danny. Um, and so understanding that is important if you have more than one kid because they all react differently. One of the mistakes that I made was I just pointed it out is not, initially you feel like I used to feel like, I had to be right all the time and present this front that I was never wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's important to be sincere and authentic and genuine and admit when you're wrong, right? It doesn't mean that you grovel and those sort of things, but you know, man up to it. It's like, sometimes you make mistakes. Your kids already know it, right? So be authentic, be honest, be genuine. Let them know, like, hey, you know what? I kind of blew it there. I apologize for that. And
That's good.
just be,
That's good.
be willing to own up to it.
I'm gonna take that to heart, bro. Personally, as a dad, I appreciate you sharing that. That's really good stuff. Um, any others you'd like to share?
I like what Carol said too. You know, I I wish I'd have read the book Whale Done, and we've talked about it before on this show.
When you were
I think
younger?
Ken Blanchard is that who wrote it when I was younger, because my kids were already pretty much in their teens by the time I read that book, and I'm like, hello, right? Um, you can get a lot, like the old adage, you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, and the truth is, you can motivate your kids and have more impact in their life by speaking positive things and encouraging the positive than you can by being critical and being negative. And Carol said something about criticizing instead of correcting, and that's true. Don't have a critical spirit. That applies to life, but especially in parenting. Don't be critical.
Yeah.
Fathers especially provoke not your children to wrath. And I've seen children that literally they just get squeezed to the point that they shoot out, and you can't you can't
Too much
provoke them. You have to.
criticism and too much. I've seen this with a lot of parents. I've seen a lot of parents be overly sarcastic. And sarcasm is fun. It's good. But man, once you cross that line and you're overly sarcastic and critical all the time with your kid, it really does make a huge difference. I think that we need to. Oh, that's good. Krista said that she likes to draw. When
Wow.
she was little, her parents wanted to talk, so they had me draw my feelings out. That's pretty cool. Actually, that's actually really smart. Very smart to do that. Yeah, that actually ruined me as a dad when I did that to my son here a few years back. I had him draw. I said, "Hey, draw what you're feeling right now." And he drew a picture of two stick figures, and he drew like these steps going onto an airplane, and he drew a tall stick figure on the steps, and then he drew like a little boy stick figure way over here, and there were like teardrops coming down. And dude, it wrecked me, Mike. I
Wow.
like literally I could I could weep right now. And that changed me forever. That's why I barely travel. I haven't traveled in probably well, since Mission 25, but I only go maybe once or twice a month now. Very, very, very. People like are wondering, dude, does this guy ever travel anymore? That wrecked me, Mike. I mean, I still have that picture to this day. And so, anyways, that's good, Chris. I appreciate you bringing that out, man. What are you about to say, Mike?
You know, I had a similar deal. Of course, I used to travel all the time for work, and I would always call home during the week when I was on. And my life was about 5 out of every 6 weeks or so. I would get on a plane on Sunday night. I get home Friday night, do my laundry. Sunday night, I'm back on a plane, and I was out working, doing consulting, whatever. And I remember one time, Danny Joe was probably 4 or 5 years old at the time, something like that. We were calling home, like, hey, let me talk to the kids. How'd your school go today, John? Whatever. We talked to Danny Joe, and she says, hi, Dad. You should come see us sometime.
Oh my Lord,
And I'm like, wow,
that's enough
really?
to ruin your day.
You know what? I
I'll
got off the phone. I sent an email to my boss. I said, we got to talk. And I said, I can't travel like this anymore. We got to change something. So then I got laid off. It was good. And the rest is history.
So he said, "Okay, fine. You want it that way? I'll give you plenty of time off."
Yeah. No, that wasn't how it happened. That company was extremely good to me, but they did it for my benefit, really, and it was the right thing. So I
Wow.
appreciate that. It was a great company to work for.
And it's tough, Mike. It's tough because at the end of the day, like I told Caleb the other day, some people have to travel. I mean, the world wouldn't, I mean, think about all the people out there. My heart always goes out to, like, think of pilots. Think of, people that have to travel for a living, delivering, semi truck drivers. I mean, we wouldn't even have half of what we have access to in life if it wasn't for people that travel. So it's a tough balance. You know what I mean? But anyways, we better get on to a happier subject, Mike. We're slowly
Yeah.
sinking into depression. Let's end the last 5 minutes with a bang. What do we got, man?
Um, okay, I'm skipping over some because they're not. Christy asked a question a little while ago, but I'm not sure I understand what she means by it. I guess this probably relates to dating. Um,
How does a guy get off the circle of going between three girls?
A, don't get there.
Well, first and foremost, if he's dating a girl and he's talking to other girls, then that is the biggest, absolute biggest no-no. Uh, in other words, if you're in an exclusive relationship, you know, like I talked about red flags. But anyways, how does a guy get off the circle of going between different girls? I don't know. I mean, I would have to know a little more about the question, Christy. Can you expound a little bit? Talking about, like, talking to one girl or talking to multiple girls. Not sure. I would have to maybe understand the question a little more if you're part of the circle run. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's what I would say.
I guess, yeah. I
I
mean,
would
at the end of
say,
the day, you can't. At the end of the day, in the dating world, right? You've got to get to know people, and that's why, believe it or not, I guess if I had anything to do over different, Mike, in my single years, I probably would have practiced more courtship. As I've studied both and as I've experienced, I think the safest, healthiest way is courtship. But that's a whole new subject that maybe deserves 30 minutes of a show, Mike, and
yeah,
uh,
we
maybe
probably
some.
should do that.
But I believe in the principles of courtship, I should say. Anyways, so good question, Christy. Sorry for that guy because he's probably in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. I would have the three girls talk to each other. That's what I would do. Yeah.
We got 2 minutes left, Mike.
Two
One
minutes.
last question that maybe we can just answer fast. If not, then you and I
Well,
can
I
just.
I have a couple of questions. I don't know if Emily's still on. She actually also asked about your favorite actor. I don't really have one because I'm not really into movies and shows that much.
Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. Those are my favorites, my man.
I'm gonna go with Clint Eastwood, and because man, I love me an old western.
You love a good old Western.
Yeah,
Mm.
I made my family watch a Fistful of Dollars a couple months ago,
That's just pure
and
abuse. Talk about mistakes parenting make. You know.
you gotta be kidding me. My son loved it. My wife's like, really?
Well, I ain't got much to say about Carol's movie selection. So, and to me, you're in good shape. Guys, I was in New York City with Mike and Carol. I was in New York City with Mike and Carol, and I told Carol to pick us out a movie because we had just finished 2 days of just intense missions work, and it was our last night off, and we were all just kind of relaxing at this house. I said, pick a good movie. I'm sorry, Carol. I'll be good. I'll be good. I'll be good. Krista says guys texting other girls when they are dating someone is part of the norm now. Yes, it is part of the norm, but it shouldn't be. And I think, again, that's got to be something that each other needs to communicate with, because you know it all literally all depends on the preference, and that's where it goes back to boundaries and honoring each other. You know, so if you're uncomfortable with your girlfriend texting other guys, well then return the favor, you know, or vice versa. But definitely while you're dating someone, you need to throw all your time and energy into that one person, getting to know them.
Right.
And then, you know, we date to mate. So never date anybody you wouldn't consider marrying, ever. Don't even go to coffee with somebody you wouldn't consider marrying. If they're not marriage material, they're not worth a phone call, a coffee date, or even any part of your time. Friendship, cool,
Yeah.
from a distance. But don't ever get emotionally involved with someone you wouldn't consider marrying. That's my best advice right there. Never get emotionally involved with someone that is not marriage material. Anyway, Mike, wow, I don't know how you let us get going on a good old dating site. You always throw me off there, Rev. We might need to stick with the parenting for a while, big buddy. But I love you.
I just feel them.
Well, yeah, you do good. You do a good job. You do a really good job. Mike, thanks for all your hard work with Fuel for Success. Really appreciate you getting this out on YouTube for people and iTunes. You know, you can go to iTunes and type in Fuel for Success and download every one of our episodes on your smartphone or your iPod or your computer. You can go to fuelforsuccess.tv and watch any previous episode. You can also go to YouTube and type Fuel for Success. But the number one request that we have is that you tell your family and friends about these shows. Give them the links. If you know of any show that would help somebody, pass it along, pay it forward, put a link out on your social media, if you don't mind, to Fuel for Success. Some of your friends might need some of these things that we share. They would be encouraged, they would be impacted. But I love all you guys. Those that are watching live, thank you so much. It means a lot that you take time out of your schedule to watch with us every single day. And those that watch later on the archive, we know many do. Thank you so much. Mike, it's been a great week. Man, looking forward to talking to you over the weekend and then seeing you again on Monday morning at 9 a.m. We'll be on health and weight loss. So looking forward to that, man.
It's awesome. Y'all have a great weekend. God bless you. Thank you so much for being here. And until Monday.